All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is up, everybody? Big Marley 3 from SHIPIT Nation here to break down the Week 16 NFL Tiers Slate for you guys. We have a weekend full of NFL football, and I am pumped for it. Make sure you guys sign up over at SHIPITNation.com so you guys can dominate these slates with us. You get all sports for just $69 a month, and we have been crushing all sports. We also have the best Discord community around, so go try us out if you haven't yet, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Also, I want to mention our guys over at Drafters are back in action with playoff best ball. They have a $3 contest and a $20 contest available to draft in right now. And that big $20 contest is a $250,000 prize pool with $50,000 going to first place. If you sign up with promo code SHIPIT, they will match your first deposit up to $100. And we will be doing a couple live drafts in the next couple weeks as well. So I hope to see some of you in there. All right, let's get into this tier slate. I always like to start with our quarterback tiers, which is tier 1 and tier 5. And then I let you know what stack options are available in other tiers. I do have full notes on every tier with every player that I'm willing to roster posted over at SHIPITNation.com, though, if you guys want some more information on these other tiers that I don't really hit on. Our top projected play in tier 1 this week is Justin Fields, and he is a guy who could put up 100 rushing yards and get there without a stack partner, but we do have his favorite target available in tier 4 this week with DJ Moore, and he is currently our top projected play in that tier as well. I do expect that to be a popular combo this week, but that is chalk I plan on eating, and this is a game where we can stack up both quarterbacks in tiers if we want to and just hope for a shootout. Next up is Dak Prescott, and this is our game of the week with a 49.5 point total. This is a hard game to stack up on the main slate, though, since all the studs are so expensive. So maybe tiers is the place to get your investment on these guys because there are no salaries. Dak has CeeDee Lamb in tier 2, and he is averaging over 28 DraftKings points since their bye week. He also has Tony Pollard in tier 4, and I am fine double stacking Dak with both of these guys, but I'd want to make it a point to get CD into my Dak lineups. And then on the other side of the ball, we have Tua, and he has all 4 of his guys available in tiers this week. Tyreek Hill should be back, and he is in tier 2. He should also be a little bit under-owned this week because of that Q tag. We definitely have to keep an eye on that, but if Tyreek Hill plays, then I like him. And then all 3 of the other Dolphins are here in tier 3. We have Jalen Waddle, who's coming off his best game of the season. And I would make a rule to have one of Waddle or Hill, if not both, in my Tua lineups. And then if I am using Tua to Hill, then I'd be fine throwing in either Mostert or Achane into my stacks and just hoping those guys lock up all the touchdowns. And then if I'm not using Hill or Tua, then I probably do want one of these running backs in my lineup, just hoping that they get the touchdowns instead. And then the last guy in tier 1 is Jared Goff, and he should be the lowest owned in this tier. And the Lions have a 25-point team total, which is just half a point behind the Dolphins. Goff also has multiple stack options, which I always like. He has Amon-Ra St. Brown in tier 2, and he should be low owned in this tier going against guys like Hill and Lamb and Jefferson. So I do like Amon-Ra, and he should be a high volume type of play. He also has Jahmyr Gibbs in tier 3, and he is coming off his 4th game this season, scoring over 25 DraftKings points. David Montgomery is in tier 4, but I don't really like him stacked up with Goff as much. I'd probably bump him up for my non-Goff lineups instead. And then the rookie, Sam Laporta, who's coming off a 3-touchdown game. He's over here in tier 6. I like him as well. He should be be pretty low owned, and he has averaged over 20 points the last 4 weeks. I mean, Goff should be low owned as is, but there's lots of ways we can stack him up. And if we are stacking him up, then we can really eat all the chalk that we want in other tiers. Tier 5 is tough this week, and most of this tier is projected within 2 points from each other. I do always try to cut out 1 or 2 players from this tier, if not more. And for this week, I see me Xing out Sam Howell and Jordan Love. And I don't even have a big preference on these other 4 guys, so I'll just be mixing them in and then stacking them with the guys that they have available. Joe Flacco has been playing great ball, and he will not be running the ball, so I'd lock in 1 or both of his stack partners this week. He has Amari Cooper in tier 6, and he has David Njoku in tier 8. Njoku is averaging over 28 points the last 2 weeks, so I would prefer him, but I would make a rule to lock in 1, if not both of these guys, into all my Flacco lineups. And then next on the list, we have Trevor Lawrence. He does have a Q tag this week, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. But if he plays, then I like him, and his stack options are in the same tiers as Flacco's. So we could just swap those guys out if we want to and keep the rest of the lineup the same. Lawrence has Calvin Ridley in tier 6, and he has Evan Ingram in tier 8. There is no Kirk, and it looks like Zay Jones should be out again. Should be out this week as well. So it should be the Ridley and Ingram show. They should soak up most of the target share on this team. So I definitely like using those guys, even if I'm not using Lawrence, and I probably want one of those guys in my lineup. And then they also have Travis Etienne Jr. in tier 4, and he gets 3 to 6 targets every game. We could toss him into stacks as well, or we can use any of these Jags players as run backs, and we can stack up the other side of the ball with Baker Mayfield. He is coming off his best game of the season, throwing for 381 yards and 4 touchdowns. This is another great matchup for him, and he has all 3 of his core players available in tiers this week. Mike Evans is in tier 2, and he has to be very low owned, being in the same tier as these other guys. He also has Chris Godwin in tier 7. He's coming off his best game of the season, going for 155 yards on 12 targets. He has 23 targets the last 2 weeks, so I probably prefer him over Evans just because it's going to be easier to win this tier than it will be to win tier 2. And then Rachaad White has been playing great really all year long, but he has caught a touchdown in both of the last 2 games, so I think he's stackable with Baker as well, maybe throwing 1 or both of those wide receivers along with them and hoping this game shoots out. And then the last guy on the list is Kyler Murray, and this is the game where we can use both quarterbacks, and they are the 2 rushing quarterbacks on this slate as well. We don't have to stack Murray because of the rushing upside, but most of his targets should be going to Trey McBride this week with Marquise Brown out with an injury. Trey McBride is available in tier 8, and he has 4 games this season with over 22 DraftKings points. Really, since week 8, 4 games with 22 DraftKings points or more. So I like him and that stack quite a bit. But once I get all my stacks figured out, then most of my lineup is already built for me. And then I can just plug in my favorite plays around that. My full player pool will be posted over at SHIPITNation.com. You get all sports for one low price, so you guys can play more and pay less. I will be back with an afternoon and a primetime slate breakdowns, but if you guys can hit that like and subscribe button for us, it really helps out. Good luck in tiers this week. I hope everyone enjoys the holidays. Thanks for listening. Go ship something.